Buying my Glock 43X was the biggest mistake I made as a new shooter, and I just realized that it was also completely the right call. Both of those was true. The gun was correct, but the purchase was a mistake. And the reason those don't cancel out is the entire point of this video. Because I bought it on my phone standing in the middle of our Disney resort, waiting to get my room. And I hope that tells you exactly how much thought went into that decision. This Glock 43X ended up shaping the next 2 years of my hobby, and well, now I have a gun YouTube channel. And by the end of this, I'm gonna show you 3 things I'm gonna do differently if you took my money back and made me start from zero. One of them is the reason that people fight in my comment section, and the 2 others are gonna sound obvious the second they leave my mouth. The first thing I'd do if you made me completely start over is put a dot on it on day 1. And this is the exact one I'd probably reach for now. For a new shooter who wants to get actually better, I'd still hand them a red dot every single time because iron sights are just naturally wrong for our eyes. But I'll get to that in a second. This is the Osai K in green, which is exactly what I would have put on my Glock, which Osai sent me. I love that it's a bare bones optic, no BS, and the whole point is a big 6 MOA green dot. A side-loading battery tray, and most importantly, it goes onto the 43X with no additional things needed. Because I cannot tell you, when I first started putting a dot on my gun, I spent 2 hours on forums trying to understand why there's a gap between my optic and the slide. So an easy installation is super dope. Now, here's why a dot matters so much, and why I'd put optics ahead of irons. So when I finally mounted my first optic, it showed me exactly every single shot what I was doing wrong. Because a dot is by design more accurate. It allows me to be more accountable for every round, and that's the entire reason why a dot is like the first thing I put on.
I was aiming here, and that's where it actually hit.
I have astigmatism and it's bad. But somehow, this green 6 MOA dot is also crystal clear, which brings the arguments every time I say this. Because everybody online tells you to learn iron sights first, then put a dot on it later. But I think that's completely backwards. The dot removes the guessing, and it sits on the target and allows you to watch your own mistake happen in real time. Think about the irons. Being front sight focused is not natural. Your eyes want to look at the target, and that's just how your anatomy has worked your entire life. And the dot lets you keep looking there, which is exactly what you'll do under stress anyways. So irons aren't useless. They're a great backup skill, which is a good thing. And this Osai K has built-in backup iron sights. Mistake number 2, and this one is just dumb because I bought a gun that I have never fired. The only pistol I've shot in my entire life was a Glock 19. So when I bought the 43X, it was entirely based on 10 different reviews I've seen on the internet who all thought it was the perfect first gun. I never held it, I never shot it, and that's not even the real mistake that made me regret buying the 43X. But we'll get to that. You should rent it, borrow it, and find one guy at your range that probably owns 9 different pistols who would be pretty happy to show you them. Shoot the M&P, the 365, the Hellcat, the 43X back to back to back. Within 100 rounds, you'll probably find out what you prefer. And if anything, if you see a review that talks bad about the gun, you should probably subscribe to them. But here's the crazy part. Even if I had shot the 43X, I would have bought it anyways because it was a perfect match for the person that I was back then. All of this to say is that the problem sounds like it's not the gun's fault. I bought it for the shooter that I once was, and never once thought that who I would become later on. Because a few months in, I got really deep into battle belt setups, and please do not ask me why a man whose entire collection was one slimline pistol and an AR-15 that had an optic attached that was more expensive than the gun itself. I somehow decided that I needed a battle belt. But this is where my head went because I wanted a holster with an active retention. Similar to the Safariland 6300s, like every gun tuber back then ever shot out of, they don't make it for the 43X. They make it for the 19 and the 17 and basically every duty rated gun on the planet.
Whoa. It actually locks? What?
And when you go down to the slim guns, you're out of luck. Don't research the gun, research the gun that can grow into. Because if you hit the point of getting good and starting to want more, you won't regret what you already have, because that is precisely what happened to me. Every one of those fixes was me quietly turning into a different shooter than I was when I first bought that gun. And here's the part I need you to actually hear. The 43X never got worse. It is the same gun that I bought on day 1. Same slide, same barrel, still perfect for the job that I bought it for. I carry a Glock 19 now every single day, and it prints more and hides worse. And I don't regret one bit. The worst part is that some guy on Reddit told me this exact thing 2 years ago. He said, I got rid of the 43X and got a Glock 19. I highly recommend this route. So no, buying a Glock 43X was never really a mistake. The mistake was, I believed that this gun was future-proof. Your first gun is probably a rough draft of what you want to become later on. And that's not a reason to stall. That's the exact reason to start. So tell me in the comments, what did you outgrow and what was your 43X? The piece of gear that was perfect until the day that you realized you needed more. And if you like this content, consider watching this video and clicking subscribe right there.